film, how does stripping compare to other things you've done in films, whether it be falling in love or fighting? How does stripping compare to all?
Growling, being a werewolf.
Well, I have a stunt person to do all my love scenes. I don't really. I just dance. It's kind of the only stunts that I do. No, I don't know, man. It's completely unto itself. It really is. You can't really compare it to anything. Even for me, that I actually did it. Like in real life, I remember Matt Bomer went out first. He was the first one to go out.
Ken, right?
Yeah, he went out as Ken, and he's the first one that actually performed in the movie. And we were all like, "Good luck, motherfucker!" Like we were like, "Oh, we were like, shit." And then he's like, "What am I doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Just go for it." And then we literally
Just rub your junk in your face.
just grab your junk and put it in your face and do the little thing. And he was like, "All right," and then he just ran out. And then when he came off, he was just like, "I don't know which side." And we were like, "Me neither."
It was literally like jumping out of the plane.
Yeah,
like we're all like, "Go!"
Kind of. And you just go out and do it. And I remember right before I was about to go out, I was like, "This is a terrible idea. Like, why did I want to make this movie all over again?" And but I don't know. It's just completely unique.
Do you ever find that you have that struggle where you have to, just turn off that switch in your own personal lives?
I don't know. I think I've tried, for the most part, to just be myself. In public or private life, and characters are characters. They're their own thing. But I've tried to generally maintain who I am, like with like my core sort of friends and who I am, like in the press, and it backfires sometimes, and other times it's worked out. So.
Yeah, well, I think coming from Pittsburgh, it's a really blue collar background. My father was working power plants. He was an engineer. My grandfather shoveled coal off of a coal barge. There's a very blue collar, hardworking attitude that I come from. So I think my job is my job. But with that said, I found myself I'm in the morning after filming Magic Mike all day, I'd be filling my car up with gas, and I'd walk into the gas station to get a drink or something, and there's music playing at the gas station, and I found myself walking to the beat at the gas station, and I'd kind of like plant in front of the drink, and I'd be like looking around like, who's next? Who's up, like steam hits over. Yeah. So there's an amount of it that you do walk around a little bit with. You gotta shake it. You gotta shake the characters off a little bit. Even when I came back to True Blood, there were scenes where this year where it was me and Anna Paquin and Stephen Moyer and Alex Skarsgård. We were all together, and everybody was very curious about the movie I had shot in my hiatus. So there were days when all of us were together, and we would spend days on set just like humping every piece of furniture on set and pointing at each other. So there was even one point where I came skipping onto the set and was like, "Somebody order a werewolf?" So you hold on to the character, but in the best way possible. I love them having such an impact on this whole world. There's a lot of Magic Mike moves that I got to use. I'm going to kill myself, dude, when I see that. There's some straight up scenes where I'm just like, all of a sudden, the yards gonna pop out. I'll see you. I'll see you in a fireman suit. Yeah.
Tatum, earlier this year, or if I may call you Channing, thank you very much. Earlier this year, the New York Times referred to you as one of moviedom's best hope for a male superstar. So I was wondering how you would respond to that, and how working with Soderbergh now the second time around, but this time as the focal point of the film, how that plays into that, or how you feel about it.
I think the superstar thing is completely arbitrary. It's just like, who has a movie that did well one weekend, and if you have a movie that doesn't do well the next weekend, all of a sudden you've fallen from whatever. So I don't, especially nowadays, I think it's all weird. But working with Soderbergh, we've just got along, and I don't think there's any, there's no we come from completely two different places, and we just see how we want to make movies kind of, the same. And I've learned more than I could ever probably put into words from him and how he runs the set. He empowers people around him to bring something to the role or to the job, even like set deck, to grip, or to anything, And I don't know. I just think he's one of the more brilliant filmmakers I've ever worked with, and probably ever will work with. Yeah.
Thanks.
You are making this movie that's actually really personal to you because it's sort of based on your life, and you have Alex Pettyfer who's sort of playing the younger version of you. Did you ever pull him aside and tell him, like, you need to do this differently, or maybe, like, you need to fuck up more? Or...
No. You know, that completely is, I mean, to clarify, it's really not my story. Like, you know, we've been quoted saying, like, if we actually put all the real stuff that happened, it would be like an out-and-out comedy, because you just wouldn't have believed it. Like, I mean, I've ridden in a U-Haul van with 7 strippers all the way up to North Carolina from, like, in the back of a U-Haul van. Like, and it's just bizarre, and you couldn't put it all in the movie, so we fabricated everything. The only thing that is relevant to my actual life is that I was 18 when I went in. When I went to war, I was 18. It was war in a way. 18, I had a sister. I played football in college that I dropped out, and then that's it really. I never wrote to eat or anything like that. That never happened.
Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, I don't have a drug problem, guys.
So you said you started stripping when you were 18, and your career has changed so much since then. Was it weird to go back to that in this film and kind of incorporate both parts of your life together, doing that time of your life, except on film?
Yeah, you know, even like writing it with my partner Reed Carolyn and talking to these guys, you know, he had a buddy that he talked to that was a male stripper that actually created the fireman routine, and like, so when you go into all these different stories and you pull all these pieces together, I didn't really realize, I don't think, until we started going, that I was like, oh my God, I still gotta do this. Like, I actually have to like go out on stage and do this all again and relive it. And I think one of the most sort of strange moments is when we went back to Tampa, and they have a place called Ybor City. It's like a street, it's like a little club district, and that was when it really hit me, of like where I was and where I've gotten to. And I walked the same streets as I stumbled down when I was 18-year-old, like little raver kid. The same stairwells that I was hooking up with girls and stuff, and now like now I can go back and I've actually made something of myself, and like it's, I got out. Not a lot of my friends did, and fairly unscathed. Fairly.
Okay, I have a question in the bridal aspect. So, yeah, I know. A lot of girls are going to be really excited to see this movie. I think they're going to skip on their, stag just to come see the movie. So what they're going to get is, this sexual feeling, and they're going to go home and they'll be like, okay, can you do that, sweetheart?
Hopefully they do, and hopefully the guy's like, I'll handle it. if he wants to remain married, he better step up to the plate. Go figure it out. Like, he better come to the movie, get some pointers, and then go back and handle business.
That's what you did for the advice for their significant others?
Completely, yeah. He's a moron if he does that. And for just sort of the record, like, I would say, like, straight men that are just like, nah, I ain't going to see that movie. All my boys that weren't strippers would come to the show, like, because they would obviously want to hit on the girls after the show, because they're already sort of primed and frothy, if you will, ready to rock. And, so it's just a...
Well, and furthermore, I mean, people say, in keeping with that thing, people say, oh, women are going to go see this, gay men are going to go see this, but what about the straight men? It's like, if you're a smart, savvy, straight man, go see it on a Friday, Saturday night. You can hang out in the lobby afterwards.
Maybe wear a fireman outfit. I don't know. Whatever you're feeling, if you want to get creative, do it.
Bring your axe. That's optional. I mean, I'm just saying, like, chances are, they're all warmed up, ready to go.
Look, better carry mace though, because it might go to a place that you're not really ready for. That's all I'm saying. Like,
Bring your in the back row at a yoga class.
Bring your rig kit. Like,
wear a whistle. Bring a whistle.
Did you have to kind of relearn it all, or did it just kind of like riding a bike just came back to you?
Like riding a bike.
Yeah. It's a lot like riding a bike, actually. You have something stuck in between your ass? No. Wow, that was rude. So no, I mean, look, I don't know. I've growing up in Florida, we used to grind a lot, just in the clubs and stuff. So what really wasn't that big of, you didn't have to learn any different moves or anything like that. And like I stay dancing, the obvious question is yes, me and my wife do dance for each other, and we keep it interesting. And I don't know, so it's not really anything new. I didn't have to dust off the old moves or anything.